Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Black Coffee and Conversation. My name is CT Minimal, along with
Rico
Erica
Moore.
Lemon.
I'm sorry, Rico Moore.
Ladies first.
All right, and then we have a guest with us today. What's your name?
Erica Lemon.
Erica Lemon. Okay.
Lemon, like the fruit.
Lemon. Okay.
Yes.
All right, bet. Gotcha. And so we're going to chop it up today. Where we at today, Rico?
We're at Moxie Coffee Shop
All
in
right.
Charleston, West Virginia, once again.
All right. So what's on your mind today?
Well, first of all, a little bit about Erica. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm born and raised in Charleston, West Virginia. Went to Marshall University, go Herd. But I have been gone from here since 91, right after I graduated from Capitol High School. I left and went away to college in Kentucky and had to come back home to West Virginia and Marshall and finish. But I've lived in South Florida, I've lived in San Francisco, I've lived in Dallas twice, and ultimately this is still home. All my family's here.
Hold on, don't forget, who's your grandmother?
Mildred Bateman, Dr. Mildred Mitchell Bateman.
Also known as the mother of child psychology.
Okay.
Nationwide.
That's what's up.
So,
Cool.
gotta give shout outs when you know where it's due.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So what we talking about today, Rico?
As always, it's about giving our opinion, our view as black men, black people, on things that go on in the news, in particular things that go on in Charleston and the rest of West Virginia. And right now, I'd like to talk I'd definitely like to talk about the lady who stepped down from the Cura board.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read that article?
No, I didn't read it. I didn't get a chance to. I thought Tyree stepped down.
Who?
I thought Tyree stepped down.
No. Hold on one second.
When I saw it, I thought it was Tyree, but it was actually.
Yeah. She stepped down. She had been a long-time member of the Cura board. Cura means Charleston Urban Renewal Authority.
How long has that been in existence?
Since the 70s at least. I know it was part of, it was, in my opinion, the main force behind the destruction of the Triangle District, which was the black community at the time.
As we know, urban renewal is just another word for gentrification. So they just like to pretty it up.
Indeed.
So it doesn't sound too bad. So they trick people. They're thinking they're going to renew it for you. Nah, they kicking you out.
Her name's Karen Haddad. She stepped down. She had been on the board for 12 years. Mm-hmm. She says, and this is a quote from the local newspaper here, and it says, I'm not certain that I can continue in an atmosphere that I feel like the board is being bullied somewhat. So I think it's best that someone else take my seat that has a little more time and energy to put into to deal with it, because at my age I just don't want to. And it goes on to mention, that lately the board is being pushed by the local NAACP and a local preacher here, Reverend Matty Watts, and mentions some of that stuff. The fact that they've been saying the Cure has been, quote unquote, using some money improperly, and they've basically been ignoring the plan for the West Side, and so she stepped down. But I mean, that's her right to do so, but my thing is this: why is it that every time, not just a single, but a group of black people step forward and say, hey, listen, our rights are being, ignored, or we're not even being considered when decisions are made or something? Why is it always put in terms of us, or in this case right here, saying that she's being, they feel like the board's being bullied? Whenever we step forward and say, look, we don't feel like we're being treated fairly, or we're just basically being ignored, or we're not being considered when decisions are made. When black people step forward as a group, it's seen as reverse racism, or just in a negative way, as if we shouldn't ask for, or excuse me, in this case, we shouldn't demand what we have a right to. I mean, it happens to me, just in my opinion, it happens in not just in this situation, but in any situation in which we stand up for ourselves as a group?
Well, I have a couple opinions on that. In regards to her saying she's being pushed, bullied, I don't think she's stepping down because she thinks she's being bullied by NAACP. Because honestly, I don't think they really have any much power around here. I think she's being bullied by other board members. Maybe she's trying to, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, maybe she may be in favor of some of the, what Reverend Watson, NAACP wants to do, and members on the board are against that. Mind you, I don't know if that's fact, this is my opinion. And because just from history, as we know, they're not really doing nothing for the black community on the West Side in general. Maybe I don't think she's being bullied by them. Is that what you took from it? I didn't get that.
I'm curious to know how, first of all, how many people's on the board, and why is it that she specifically has decided to step down? I think you bring up a good point, because maybe it's not coming from the outside. When you're reading that, my first thought was, does she feel like she's being bullied by the NAACP or people who are demanding some answers? But I think, to your point, it could be outside. Yes, but what does that mean exactly?
I don't know, but I do know that I've been in a couple of those meetings, so I do know that the pressure has been being applied by those particular groups. And there have been some meetings in which the numbers have been put out in the open in terms of the amount of money that has been spent and the amount of money that has not been spent in the communities which need it the most. And in this case, it has to do with a plan that was put in place back in 2008 to basically go into the quote unquote the West Side, which is predominantly black, and get rid of a lot of the blighted and slum housing that is in that area. And from my opinion and what I've read from the law, that is the basis of what Cure is supposed to do. It's supposed to help improve these areas in which they have become slum and blighted. But a lot of money has not gone into that area. It's been funneled in different places. And I'm not saying it's been funneled inappropriately, but if you look at the places that need it the most, they've kind of been overlooked.
But my thing is, just the name Charleston Urban Renewal, that's gentrification. So to think, they're going to come in and make.
I don't think it's gentrification. I don't think it's gentrification.
What is it then?
It may have been used like that over the years, but I don't think that's what it's supposed to be for. I'll put it that way.
So it's being misappropriated then.
But the thing is, it says urban renewal. When you hear the word urban, they associate that with black.
Right.
So they want to renew the black. But
when this came,
can that be true for the city of Charleston though, as a whole, right? Because I think this city is a little bit different than, let's say, any major city. When you think about socioeconomics and poor, it isn't, and being in the city isn't always here. Black, it can be black and white here. Not to say if you're in places like Chicago or California where there's a clear delineation between race in the city. I don't know if that really exists so much here.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But so on the West Side, it's mostly, black people live there, but there are some whites, but white people that stay there as well. But just look at some of the stuff that's been going here lately. They had a town hall meeting on the homeless here, I think it was on Wednesday. They're trying to figure out what we're going to do with the homeless problem. To me, when I think what they're trying to do, what are we going to do with the undesirables? Mm-hmm. And I think we fit under that category. I live on the West Side. And that's just how I feel. They're looking at it. And so this woman stepping down, says she's feeling the pressure. I don't know. Is she feeling pressure from other board members hey, let's just forget about them? Because she said from outside forces. To me, that's just kind of a vague.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Because what does that mean? People, she don't have to really give her reason if she don't want to. But I feel like not much has gone into really explaining. They might as well just left that out there. She just resigned and be done with it.
All right, listen, I'm fine with that. I can see that point of view. But still, the question is, why is it that when we step up as a whole, as a group, it is seen as we get that it's a negative situation.
Because we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to be quiet and just let things happen the way that they do. I think that there's a movement in this country right now where black people are just sick of being quiet. Right? I think that
time to be marginalized, huh?
Right, that we've been marginalized for a long time, but I think there is a movement where people are just trying to find a way to have more empowerment amongst ourselves. I feel a lot more unity that's happening now than probably has in a really long time. And I think I have to equate that a little bit to Colin Kaepernick because of him being vocal in that stance. And then Trump and his presidency and how specifically the state of West Virginia voted. Right, yeah. And even the state
Trump
that
country,
I live in,
yeah.
right, in Texas, it's the same. But I do believe that there has been a little bit turn in the tide where people are just tired of being what we were talking about, being politically correct, which really just means not making another group of people feel uncomfortable, and we know what that group is.
But I agree with you. And my thing is, in the system of racism, white supremacy, black empowerment is terrorism.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Go back to things like Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes.
Like you see the photos of a black person being hung, saying this nigga voted. So when you want to stand up for yourself, that is terrorism. So you're going to get pushback.
Well, if you go that far, in my opinion, our school system is terrorism. They go about and they subjugate the black intelligence by not giving them a foundation to begin with, in terms of they have no idea about black history, anything we've done, or as you like to say, models of possibility.
Yeah.
They make sure, and they do it, in my opinion, intentionally to make sure that our black kids know nothing about anything great that most black people have done. They may give them a month, the shortest month of the year, by the way, and they teach them a little bit more.
And the coldest.
The coldest. And they teach them a little bit about Martin Luther King, but they have absolutely no knowledge that where's the if you want to talk about this, we'll just talk about Christianity, which is not a big place to begin a foundation for us, for me. But where is the ark supposed to be right now? The covenant of the ark is supposed to be in Ethiopia right now, to this day. We don't know anything about this stuff. We don't know anything about the Gnostic churches or anything like that. Actually, the Coptic churches. We don't know anything about that. Our history is non-existent in our school system.
But part of that problem, though, is I think we have taken for granted that there's going to be a group of people that are going to be responsible for teaching our group of people. And so, and I don't know what it looks like around here in terms of the school system. When you think about how many minority teachers there are in comparison to non-minority teachers, right? Whether they're black or Indian, because there's a little bit of an Indian population, around here. So, what's our level of responsibility is trying to put ourselves back into those positions, right? So we need to be ourselves more teachers, whether we become actual teachers or principals or superintendents, or being responsible for the things that we're teaching within our home. I think the same would be for policing too, right? I don't know how many in Charleston, right? How many black cops are there actually?
But the problem I see with it is the people that we put in these positions have the messed up view that they've been taught and been indoctrinated with for all these years. It's just like putting, you put the light-skinned black dude in the or black woman in the house to clean up, and you keep the dark-skinned ones, big ones out in the field, so that this guy feels special. So at any time these people start to think that, well, maybe there's more for me in life, because I feel special and I'm in the house, I go tell. So I'm even harder on the people who are trying to enlighten themselves and move to a different position than even the guy who put me, in my position is. Yeah. Or if you watch Django, Steven.
Yeah, this is Candyland, nigga.
And then that is an issue.
Yeah.
Anytime we begin to speak out.
But the thing is, you're always gonna have, sell-ass coons, whatever you want to call them. But the problem is, what's the real punishment mechanism for those? people within our community. Because
well, first of all, we don't have a community here.
Well, that too. But the thing is, though, somebody can easily, like you say, be bought, and sell out, and so they can still walk through your community, and nobody just goes up there and socks them in the jaw. I'm not necessarily advocating for violence, but as a victim of speech, then what's to stop them from to keep on doing it? What's to stop encouraging the next person to say, all right, well, shoot, they ain't gonna do nothing. I might as well just go get the bag, and F everybody else.
I mean, you know what, they did the same thing with the federal system now. If you become a rat, you get time off. You become a rat, you get time off. So all of a sudden they talk about this, they made snitching cool. And that's what they like to say, but in my opinion, it was done intentionally. Because if you break the way people stick together, not just criminally, but in general.
But that's systemic. That's been going on since slavery, right? You just mentioned between being the house Negro and the field Negro, right? So there is a mindset as professional people as we are, right? And in general, like, so even let's say think about the drug dealers on the street, and it's all about the money because we're trying to attain something that we think is good, which good looks like it's white, right? So we have to be part of the Grammys, or we have to be part of the Emmys, things that don't necessarily really encompass us or support us, right? So then we have to do our own thing and break away. It wasn't meant for us in the first place.
So we wasn't built with us in mind.
Right. So why do we have to change our mindset and think about how we're trying to attain? It doesn't have to attain. We don't have to try to become that. We can build our own.
Right.
But the thing is, a lot of said this? A lot of black people see their lives through the eyes of white people.
This is true.
What I mean is, what can I do for their approval or for a pat on the back? And, some of us, even I ain't gonna say like every black person doesn't have that kind of, even if they want to be, black militant or black power, that's always gonna be in the back of your mind. All right, if I do this, what's gonna be the response? Or what's gonna be the reaction? And the thing is, you gotta set that to the side and be unapologetic.
Right.
That has to be built, and people have
start with the kids.
Yeah, but how do you get with the kids, with the parents, right? Because you have a blank slate with children, but parents' influences are high, and if children are being exposed,
so if the parents are cool, the kids gonna be a cool.
Well,
I mean, because you are what you until you get to a place where you can know between right and wrong, or you want to do something different. That is your influence for a long time.
That's kind of my point. We have to give them something, even though we may not give them as much as the school systems and our society has to go left. We have to give them an opportunity, or put it in the back of the mind that they can go right. Because if you only have one road of getting somewhere, right? One road, one avenue that you believe that you can go in life, right? So you will never, ever, it's less than likely that you will ever go the other way. But if even subconsciously in the back of your mind, there's an opportunity to go somewhere else. Maybe one day that light bulb goes on, bang, and you're like, oh shit, let me go this way. So even though we're swimming against the tide, we still have to give them, or try our best to give them that possibility.
Absolutely.
And that's what I said, we said in previous episodes, and I think we need to start a series on this. We got to start highlighting people, like you said, miles of possibility. People
in our
communities. In our community. People have achieved certain, things. People have certain professions.
I don't give a damn if they're barbers, they fix cars, they drive trucks.
There's nothing wrong with any of those things. It is a goal, and people are being self-sustaining and entrepreneurial in those places.
Like black business owners. Like this last weekend, I shot a video and did some photos for a guy for his son's midget league football. Then I met up with him the other day, to get paid or whatever. He's like, yeah, this is my daycare. I didn't even know he owned a daycare. Right. Then he says, yeah, my lady or whatever down, or ex-lady owns a boutique down in North Carolina.
Right.
It's like this, like little things like that. We gotta start highlighting.
Dude, I went to college with, man. He came in from the Virgin Islands, man. Adonis Smith. He owns Empire Electric. He is a full-blown contractor. he does his thing, man, and he's a good dude.
So how can you put these initiatives in place, right? So how can you get this person who owns a daycare system or daycare center to go and maybe speak at a junior high or high school and talk about this is what I do, this is the steps that I had to go about getting into being an entrepreneurial, because that's really what that is, right? No matter what the business is, the mindset of being focused enough to want to do that, right? Because most kids, especially in places where they're not necessarily seeing what they can be, all looks like football player, basketball player, rapper, right? Video vixen, whatever, right? How can you instill that other piece? Because unless you have some, by chance, right? Like a lot of things I think just happen organically, that I was at a school and there was this person that came and they spoke, or this teacher took an interest in me, you know, and put me on this different path. Like, how can it be how can it affect a bigger group of people being than just this one-off?
Well, I think to answer your question, we have to start controlling the narrative. We have the technology now. We have, platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. We have the technology in regards to the cameras. It's very relatively cheap, depending on how you want to go into, get your narrative out there. And so, like, how do we highlight like entrepreneurs? I come from, my parents own their own business, so I've always seen that growing up. I'm in the process of starting my own, media business, and I don't like working for people. Even I work for my dad right now. Even that I kind of have, a pushback against that, because I want to go do my own thing, and so we have some disagreements sometimes on how the business should go. But still, like you said, we have to start showing miles of possibility, highlighting these people who have certain business. Like you say, even if it's just like a landscaping business. Even if you just sell T-shirts online.
See, my thing is this: we don't have to always own our own business.
Well,
we have to own our own consciousness. Is my issue.
That. Yeah, because if you own your own businesses, but you got a Steven from Django mindset, that ain't gonna benefit nobody but yourself.
Right. We have to own our own consciousness in terms of, okay, listen, sometimes we have to work for somebody. That's fine. But even though I work for this person, we have to have a sense of pride in who we are and what we do.
Yes.
That is the biggest issue we have. And even within government around here, we're speaking locally. And I believe our politics really start local.
Most definitely.
We need for these kids and these people to understand that, we have to be considerate, and we have to consider ourselves in every decision that is made, not just within our house, but outside of our house in terms of the politics, because it's going to affect what is actually in our house. And with that being said, we got 3, 4 people running for mayor this next election. And I want to know specifically what they have to do, what their plans are for the black community, what their thoughts are on the black community, because as I always say, we're the only growing population in Charleston. So, what's the difference that you've seen, because you've been a lot of places, you live quite a few different places, with the politics among, the black communities in other places versus the politics here, because you grew up here as well.
Well, I think one of them is it's a numbers piece, right? So the amount of professional black people in a bigger city, in contrast to who's running for seats and offices, are a little bit different than they are here. And I think the black community in the cities that I've been living in are keeping whoever's running for these offices accountable, right? Before they're even voting for them, right? So people have to work, depending on what county they might be in. Some of them work a little harder than others, right? If they're in an area where it's predominantly black and low income, I don't think those people work as hard, because I think that population of people are not holding them as much as accountable than, let's say, a more diverse or middle to upper income Black neighborhood are keeping those politicians more accountable.
But you know
But
what
why
you
is that?
said? Black neighborhood. We do
Yes.
not have a real, a truly cohesive Black community.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, you know, me and you kind of, you know, not to say disagree on this, talking about Rico, but to me, I go under the Claude Anderson philosophy. It starts with economics. You know, if you say, you know, they don't really, you know, hold the, you know, the lower, you know, income community is not, you know, can't hold the politicians accountable.
They can, they just don't.
But
Because
how
because-
can they though?
Be-
That's what I like to know.
They can because it would be, so let's say for me, right? If I knew that there was someone that was running in a lower income area, I haven't done this, mind you, but as we're talking about it, I got to hold my own self responsible for some of these things, even though if it might be an area that's not affecting me. As a whole, it affects me because what happens to Black people it affects all of us, right? And so, if someone's just running, right? Oh, because they decide they want to be city councilman of, and we have a lot of small areas in Dallas where people can do that, right? And so let's say, well, okay, this person wants to run for city councilman in an area, but they're not necessarily beyond putting out signs and maybe coming and speaking at a church, you know, promising what they're going to do. No one's really kind of holding them to task. So then the next election comes, no one's then challenging them and saying, okay, all those things that you said were going to happen, did you do them?
But they do show them enough respect to come speak to them, don't they?
But
But when you're in a city like Dallas, right, where there are mega churches, Black churches,
Right.
it's easy to do that kind of thing.
But my thing
okay,
is-
so getting going to that,
Yes.
how has it changed community-wise from when you grew up here in Charleston versus what you see now in Charleston?
Hold on, before we go there, she's talking about coming to the mega churches.
Okay,
I would like to.
Going
No. This might be a little controversial, but I would like to know why. You know, this is not, you know, civil rights era. What exactly are the Black churches? You know, I know they have good, you know, intentions might be there, but why do they have to be the leaders of the Black community? Because at the end of the day, you know, you go to church on Sunday, you go to choir practice on Wednesday or Thursday, you go to, you know, whatever, Bible study on Tuesday night. But other than that, are you demanding, can you demand respect, or does not demand, but does the general population demand you once the church doors close?
Well, I think it has to do with the history.
Traditionally speaking, where you get your politics from and support.
But they don't do it now.
I would agree. I think they make a lot of money, and I don't really know. And I have a problem with it. You know, we've got some of the biggest ones in Dallas. I haven't even been to T.D. Jakes' church ever, right? And so, and part of the reason is because I am a woman of God, and some of it I feel like these things are being exploited. Now, I can't say for sure that within that church or the many other churches that they don't have things to set aside. If you came in and said, hey, I need money and I'm a member here, that they wouldn't help you pay your bills or take care of you. I don't know that. But I would also say that when you have a big mega church in a community and you still see dilapidated buildings
That's
and
the point I'm trying to
things
make,
like
yeah.
that, then to me, then you're not necessarily working for the community around.
To me, that, you know, institution is a failure.
It's a
Well, listen,
business
man,
still
I-
at the end of the day. It is. The churches are a business.
I look over all that. If you look to me, I think they come to them because out of tradition, and traditionally that was one place, you know, you knew they were going to be gathered. A lot of us
This
in
is
one
true.
area.
Yeah.
We don't have that as much anymore. And if you're really looking for the leaders, they're in the street. You can call them.
would agree,
you know,
yes.
the gangsters, whatever you want to call them. Those are the people in the street. Those are the people who you have to get to. Those
I
are
would
the
say
people
the
who have
Nation of
influence in
Islam
lives.
is on the street.
Well-
I see them as a level of leader, quite honestly,
yeah.
more than I do
Well, think about
the
it.
local
according
church.
to the
Think about
FBI now,
Jesus.
they're
a terrorist
Well,
group.
they're Black identity extremists. You heard
Well,
about
we're
that?
all
Oh, okay, yes.
We're all
That's just a
terrorists.
new word
Yeah.
for terrorist.
Well, it's
Well,
COINTELPRO. You
But
know,
think about Jesus. The people he ran with, who were they?
Yeah,
They were all
people.
street people.
Yes.
They were all pickpockets, thieves, hustlers, whatever you want to call them. He went into
Tax collector.
Yeah, he went into synagogues and turned over tables and stood up on tables.
Yeah, because he didn't like the way that things were being done.
Honest, most
So
Christians don't even read the Bible.
Well,
but that is what we when they say that is what we need to be doing.
Yes.
We need to be out in the streets with those people that we call the undesirables or whatever you want to call them.
I don't call them that. They call
No,
them
me neither. I said what they call them. Yeah, you're right. The undesirables. Those are the people that are scared of. Because if you can get them to come together and say, look, I'm going to vote for this person, this person, this person, you're no longer going to overlook me, then you have a problem. Guess what? Because most of those people who, quote unquote, are not scared to break the law are also not scared of you.
Yeah.
But the economics has to go hand in hand.
But economics will come because if you're the person that's taking the positions that make the decisions, then you're the person that takes the positions that make the decisions about the economics as well.
No. I'm talking about. I understand that. I'm talking about the population. The economics has to, come because, let's say we vote in, Joe Schmo from the West Side. He gets in. First of all, like you said, what's our agenda? And I don't care if you Republican, Democrat, Green Party, during the Martian Party, whatever you want to call it.
What did Kendrick say?
What's that?
The Rebloodicans
and the Democrats. Yeah, the Democrats. Yeah. I don't care, who you are, but once again, are they going to, stick to our agenda? But after that, how are we using our money? Not necessarily to influence that office, but influence those within the community. Mind you, we live in Charleston, West Virginia. It's kind of hard to, find like I said, it's hard to find a black-owned business. Like right now, we're in a coffee shop. This is not black-owned.
No.
But the thing is, we had a bit, sit down, a month or two ago, Rico, and we was talking about, somebody said, do black people, would they even want to come to a coffee shop? Shit, I would.
Well, I mean, we're black, and there's a black dude over the corner too, and we're all in coffee shops. We drink coffee.
Here's the thing, though.
We spend more of our money than anybody else.
You're right. We spend billions of dollars every year.
My black coffee conversation. The coffee that's serving here comes from Ethiopia.
So the other thing, though, I think
that's where the majority of coffee come from, Ethiopia and Kenya.
Well, it has to start with the mindset. People have to, we have to think for ourselves that we are valuable and that we have power. We have a lot more power than we think we do. And so we've got to change our mindset to say that we're worthy.
Right. And so when people start saying, outside forces start saying things about us, right? Oh, well, he's this, he's that. Yeah, okay. Bottom line is, what does he do for our community? I don't care that he's so dope. I grew up with him. I know what's his mindset is in his heart. I know the type of person he is. I know that when I was a kid, if I went to his mom's house, it was yes ma'am, no ma'am, whatever. That's a business decision. Because it goes so far as to take a look at from, now with this opioid epidemic that we have in West Virginia, all of a sudden it's a health crisis. When it was the crack epidemic, it was a military situation. Lock as many up as you can. Now is, they need help, except those quote unquote drug dealers who all the time when it's posted on TV look like us.
Shoot,
and we both know we don't own a pharmaceutical company.
They growing the opium.
Well, not even beyond opium. Let's just say the pills.
I understand that. Well, that's true. I ain't think about that. Because that's one of the biggest drugs abuse is the pill. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
Shoot,
that's where it started.
Yeah.
They promoted OxyContin as being non-addictive, and they knew from day one, based upon the test, that it was very addictive. Yeah. Now, have they gone and arrested all of those people? No.
They're not. They're not going to.
Yeah, because they're powerful.
One of us. Matter of fact, I was reading some stuff, and I'm not big on the celebrity quote-unquote bullshit, but Meek Mill, he just they violated his probation and sent him in jail for 2 to 4 years for popping a willy. For getting charged for, on his motorcycle popping a willy.
But had he already violated his probation like 3 or 4 other times?
No, maybe so. But listen, 10 years on probation for a bullshitting gun and a little bit of drugs.
Like in the
10 years on probation.
That was already excessive.
Well, okay. Well, listen. 15 years in the state of West Virginia is a life sentence with the possibility of parole. 10 years on bro. Come on, man.
But here's the
Get
thing,
real.
though. Think about this. Let's be honest. You know,
Dude just shot up everybody in Las Vegas, but he's got a mental problem.
well, of
Oh
course,
yes, it's always
man,
going to
get
be
out of
that.
here.
But it's always-
if you're
it's about
white, you're
control.
I
mentally
deal with
ill,
this.
and if you're anything other than white, then it's
always,
terrorist.
it's about controlling the narrative. But here's the thing.
Always.
You know, we've all traveled in many other countries and stuff like that. Those on the show right now. United States, they have so many laws. You're a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, think about this, popping a willie. How was that even a crime in the grand scheme of things?
Well, they say that you create a risk of danger to the public because you could potentially wreck or whatever. So I mean,
every
it's
time
not
you
West
turn
Virginia.
your ignition on, that's a danger.
Yeah, but it's sort of like speeding, and you're going, excessively fast. It's the same thing, but it's
You're
ticketable.
breaking the
It's
law.
not something. You may be, but it's still not something that you're like. Oh, by the way, in probation, and the prosecutor in that case said, well, nah. This is not. This shouldn't be
But here's the-
jailable. They give you 2 to 4 years.
But here's the kicker.
I'm just saying, just make it fair.
Do you know who the judge? The judge was a black lady.
I don't care. Just make it
but
fair.
the
But
thing
she's
is-
ingrained with the same thought
Exactly.
process that we talked about
She's
earlier.
Steven's wife
Yeah,
from Django.
Oh, huh?
we have we have those too. We have those too.
Yeah, because listen, just because
You
you're
know.
black don't mean you one of us, right? I
No.
mean, like we within our own community, it's one of the. I've had some of the worst situations within my own community versus outside of my community when
Oh
it
my
comes
God.
to,
Oh.
being discriminatory.
Well,
The way you speak, those things, right?
because
Because when you're growing up, you don't expect to see that, have that within your own. But people have it within their own families,
Man.
color stroke and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So like we're fighting against them and we're fighting against ourselves,
Yeah.
all at the same
Yeah, but
time.
what we got to remember is, just like any family, we gonna fight. But when it's an issue, we got to come together and fight them.
Well,
it-
that's what you would
me and my
hope.
brother had a fight. Me and my sister had a fight. But when outside fight, no, it was us against them.
Well, I
But
think the
yeah, so
NFL is a prime example as us against them. They can't even come to. They don't even know there would be no NFL without black players.
funny
They
thing.
can't even come together
Well,
because
hell,
they
they-
think that they are making enough money or a lot of money when, in the big scheme of things, they're really not making anything.
but here's the problem.
Well, I mean,
with
that's how they,
NFL, and I don't-
that's how they
I-
destroyed black colleges, with getting rid of all the great black athletes that started there. The athletes that started, the style of play you see in the NBA, West Virginia State was involved in that. You got the teams down in North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi. Those black colleges, that was their style of play.
Well, that's what we do as black people. We do great things, and then other people come in and try to take over.
Well, here's the thing, though. You talked about the NFL, the protests and stuff like that. Last year, when it started with Colin, you only had about a handful, about 5 or 6, maybe 10 at most, was
Yes.
behind him. They didn't get up in arms until
Trump said what he
45
said.
said what he said, and then we got to stand against him. And a week later,
I didn't respect any of that.
I didn't either. Because here's the thing, this
You
man,
weren't for him in the beginning,
exactly,
or you would have been already kneeling.
But here's the thing, like you said, and then you got the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. He's basically $40 million slave owner who says y'all better stand. Here's the thing, you got if Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, who's now suspended on some BS, if you ask me.
Who they're trying to fight hard for to get back on the team.
Well, here's the thing, they love you for entertainment.
As long as you
As long-
work and making money for them.
from 1 to 4 p.m. on Sunday, they love you. At 5:30, if you get your brains blown out
But
by Barney Fife.
But they only like you if you're making money for them their
Yes.
way.
Well, yeah.
You know
Yes.
that, right? If they get the decision to tell you how to make that money, that's when
Yes.
they love you. That's a whole different way of looking at it. So it's not so much about the money; it's about the decision making and the power behind it. That's
So,
what they love.
So, I have a question for Erica. What do you think? How do we, develop a base power to then we can then influence these other, like NFL or not even, I don't even really like saying sports because I don't really watch pro sports outside
I
of
want to know
boxing.
I want to know about locally what you think we can do,
Yeah.
and I really want to know because not only are you from here, not only were you educated here, you're a woman, a black woman. Because we all know they're out, you know, a lot of times the raising the kids and doing a lot of stuff has fallen upon black women. Mm-hmm. And I want to know what your idea would be for us locally to, I don't know, I guess, to go forward in a positive direction for the black community.
I really do think ultimately it comes down all to education. And I'm not necessarily talking about formal education. I mean educating about where we come from and who we are and the power that we have, right? I mean, you're sitting here reading this, right? Policing the black man. Who else is reading this? Outside of someone like yourself who's an avid reader and a professional, are the kids on the street corner know anything about what's going on here, right? The new Jim Crow. Do the average black person around here know about who they are, where they come from, and the power that they have? I think it starts there first. People have to feel as if they are valuable. That's an internal thing. And then once you start to, so what does that look like? Maybe, you know, having someone come in, or even, I mean, you're a good speaker, you do something. For me,
I mean, I know your grandmother is, you know, your grandmother is shit, world famous. I mean, she was a nice lady, a regular lady, but you know, her thinking definitely was different for anybody, a lot of people in her era, because how many black women would want to be doctors at that time?
Well, I will tell you, I think as much as I love my grandmother and as great as I think she was as a physician, as a psychiatrist, and did a lot for the state, for her family, I don't think that was so much the truth, because this empowerment of you can do anything you want, you can be anything you want, I was able to see it, thank God, subconsciously, but these are conversations that need to be had. And I remember when I was sitting down talking to her about going to college, we never had a conversation about college. She just assumed I would go, but based on what? Because that's what I saw. But we don't make demands, I think, out for our children or for ourselves about this is what it is you need to do. I was able to see something that looked very successful, right? I knew if I wanted to be a doctor, like that didn't seem like something that was foreign to me because they're in my family. But not everybody has that. So when you talk about, or you're talking about the person who has the daycare and being able to go out and speak to children, right? And to say, because sometimes the parents are gone, right? So you're not always going to be able to connect with the parents, and sometimes it's the kids that have to go in and say, hey mom, this is what I want to do, be outside of being an NBA player or NFL or a rap star. So I think it starts community, whether it's, I don't know, is there still a YMCA here? You know, or you do something and you have something on the weekend and you have people come in, black people, so you can use the people who are here locally and say, you know, these are the other things that we can do as a community. You have to build them up first. And then the other part of it comes from finances. Because to your point about not everybody wanting to be an entrepreneurial file, but people could be out of debt, right? Like, how do you get your money together, right? How are you saving for your future?
But the thing is, though, I'm glad you brought that up. We don't have money to save. And that's the problem. That's
never true.
No. It is true because the average black person, and this has been studied and documented, you know, the median wealth for black families, once you take out the family car, is $1,700.
Okay, so you put $10 away a month.
No, I understand that, but the thing is, we're at 40% of black males in major cities are unemployed. So
how do you feel about my idea, which is to do our best to have a real effect on the political landscape in terms of, you know, our voting power?
People have to know what that even means, right? Like, if I vote for X, this means what for me, right?
Right. I'm with you. But do you think that would have a real effect if we did say, Erica is now our city councilwoman, CT is now our city magistrate, you know, Jonathan is now a circuit court judge, and you guys put him in office? Do you think that would have an effect on our kids economically and socially as well?
Well, yes, because first of all, I think it would say to a group of people, you have more power than you think. Right. So you have the ability by just voting to help yourselves by putting people in office that want to do that. But they also need to know, well, what does that look like? Because just because I'm black don't mean I want to help you.
No.
Right?
We want Erica. We don't want.
Right.
We don't
but
want.
How do you know who Erica is? Right. Like, how do you get that information out there to say between Erica? I'm sorry, what's your name?
CT.
And CT. Like, how we're running for the same thing. How do you choose which one? Okay, they're both black. How do I choose which one? Who is going to be a better advocate?
But it's
for
not.
me?
It's not just because they're both black. It's we want to know what their agenda is, and then we want to look at what is their pedigree, where are they from, what have they done, what is their connection to the black community. Once we do that, and we say, okay, listen, Black Light Initiative, we're going to endorse Erica and CT. And, you know, we want all these people that take a look at these videos that we do and take a look at the seminars that we do for free. I mean, we're doing them here, we're going to do them in Beckley, we're going to do them in Huntington. We want all of them to say, we trust these people, we understand these people. We're going to bring it to them straight up, uncut, raw. These are the people that we vote for. And when they don't, we're also going to give you, well, this is what you do to start the removal of these people from office for dereliction of duty.
Yes.
You know, and because so we do have a plan for that. So, but you do agree with me that that would make a huge impact on the black community.
I think you have to tell a group of people what voting can do, why voting is important, and how voting can impact your life and your community. And then when you do that, then you put the people, you present whoever that is that you want to present in that fashion.
But at the end of the day, you know, just to put it as simple as possible, you know, government is basically responsible for the allocation of resources.
Yes.
So I would say, all right, if we vote for Erica, how are you going to funnel some type of money after school programs? Do you have a proposal to build some type of community center? You know, grants for college, things like that. Well, and what most important, what is specifically for black people? Yes, you might have to. You can do some things for other groups, but what is your black agenda? If you come up, I'm going to do something for everybody, you're disqualified automatically, in my opinion.
Well, I'm going to do something for everybody. You can do something for everybody. But
if that's your immediate answer,
yeah, but I'm just saying you can do something for everybody. But when you say everybody, then I expect you to have an answer for what you're going to do for Jim, Jack, Emily, specifically.
Here's the thing, though.
Well,
that's what I want to know.
Don't, and that's the problem we've had in the future.
So
but you're never going to know, right, until you get people in.
What
happens is the next cycle, right? Because if they're not doing what they said they were going to do, but people have to hold them accountable. Right? Like I can't I think we did a huge disservice with Barack Obama.
I agree 100%.
I think we were just like, oh my God, we just happy that he's black. And then we just forgot about everything else.
But you know what that's like, right? You know what that is, right? I just won a damn lottery. I'm so happy I got this money. And then you go spend it all because you had no plan on what to do because you're just so happy.
You're just so happy. But we had 8 years. You know, the second 4 years, we did put him back there, right? So we could have demanded a little bit more. And I think people have to understand that you can't just do something and then let it go. We are each responsible for our own selves.
But here's the funny thing about Obama. Like, I was talking to somebody, you know, when he was still in office. And I said the same thing. He said he ain't really done nothing for black people. He said, well, this person said. He said, well, once he gets out of office, he's going to do something for us. I said, this person is the most powerful man in the world. If he can't do nothing in office, what do you expect he's going to do when he gets out?
First of all, we didn't have enough seats, in the different bodies. They always got it his way when he tried to really do something. But he did a whole lot for us in terms of this. Once again, I'm still in your word. He gave us a model of possibility. And I love the fact that these kids can say, oh, we had a black president. At least they can say that. And then we got to just build on that locally and say, yeah, we did. Now we got to do this, and this. You know, that is, what I believe. And I'll take that for right now. I will. Because until that point, You know, we once had one black quarterback. I can't remember his name. The first one ever was with the Steelers. He's not well known, but once we had that quarterback, then we got another one, and they get better and better, and we build on that. You know, so let's just, in my opinion, let's just do our best to affect this next round of elections locally, and go to everybody that's running for mayor. And I think we need to demand, what is your plan for the black community specifically?
Let me ask you a question.
I want to end on that. I don't have anything else to say.
And
this
it's
is important.
grassroots, though, right?
Yeah,
like
this is
grassroots.
And we started off with that lady. I forgot what her name was. That resigned from the chair board.
Yeah.
And she said, the NAACP and pressure from Watts. This is an important question to ask. Is the NAACP going to be the spearhead, or the representative, or the church leaders going to be the spearhead and the representative? Because from what you just said, those are the kind of, if what is true from based on her statement, those are the people that are quote unquote afraid of. To me, I don't agree with that.
No.
But are they going to be the one that's going to spearhead this, or who's going to spearhead?
We
Holding these people accountable.
Everybody, we the people should be doing that.
You stand up
it
and you
doesn't
say what
have
you
to
have
be
to
one
say.
spearheaded by anything. I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to have a voice, because not everybody's in church.
Well,
Nor does everybody respect the church.
That's like what
So,
yeah.
there are plenty of people that are out here that, to your point, that are smart, that are powerful, that are entrepreneurial spirits, that are not part of the church, that can hold people accountable by what's going on in their community.
I mean, that's like what we do, CT. Nobody runs us. It's not like, oh, she's the boss, get rid of the boss, then it dies. There are 4 of us, and you and I so far have been the only ones that do this video. But that doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't have a say-so, whether or not they're here or not. So you get rid of me, okay, well, they keep going. You get rid of him, they keep going.
And that was a problem in the past. They killed people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, Medgar Evers, and then the movement died.
Well, if you infect these people, with this bug of consciousness and belief in themselves, and it spreads from person to person. You don't stop it, and that's what we have to continue to do.
And I agree, and I think here going forward, people say we need leadership. Leadership to me is not an individual.
That's right.
No.
Leadership is a collective of minds.
That's a collective mindset and belief.
Stop putting the burden on one person. Because like you said, they take that person out, kill them, lock them up, whatever they want to do with them, discredit them, and shoot, damn, what are we going to do now? Well, shoot. If that person goes down,
it's a collective mindset and belief, and that's what we have to have as a group.
And that comes back to knowing who you are.
Right. So I want to end it right there personally.
Okay.
I want to let this go.
It was a great show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
This was fun.
Next time you're in town, we'd like to have you back on.
All right, I'd love
Maybe
to be
we
back
can
on.
get you to join us via FaceTime or something. I don't know, but I like having you
y'all almost
around.
got me ready to move back here so that I can make some change and help make this change, because ultimately I think what we're supposed to be doing as a person of faith is finding a way to be for the greater good, right? And
this place raised you. It made you.
I know. It has. I mean, this will always be home for me, and I think there's a lot of things that could be done here to improve this place. This is home, and I just think that people still have a level of hopelessness, but we should be, instead of leaving, right? I mean, I think I'm so proud of you, because you've stayed and you are always trying to help. And most of us leave. Can't wait to get out.